Friends and colleagues from the media, to begin, I would like to express my thankfulness to the Honorable Representative of the House of Representatives of the United States, Kevin Owen McCarthy. Thank you very much, Congressman, for being here with us. It's an honor to have you in Colombia. It is a pleasure. You are a great friend of our country. I would like to thank all members of the delegation that have joined you, senators and representatives. This is a bi-party and bicameral initiative. I would also like to greet the Ambassador of the United States to Colombia, Kevin Whitaker, and I would like to say the following. To begin, I would like to once again express my gratefulness for this visit and the way we see that it reaches several different realms. First of all, your support to the efforts made by Colombia to counter drug trafficking and illegal crops and drug cartels and terrorism. This has been a joint effort, and it is a co-responsibility, and it requires efforts made by both Colombia and the United States. So I would like to sincerely thank you for these efforts, Dr. McCarthy. Thank you for reassuring this effort that we must make every day. As you know, Colombia, from the year 2012 to the year 2018, experienced an exponential growth of illegal crops due to several different decisions that were made at that point in time. Our administration has been facing this challenge with all the determination needed in order to be able to reduce this exponential growth, eliminate cartels and laboratories, and conduct interdiction, and to be offensive in the military realms to be able to counter the structures of drug trafficking in our country. I would also like to express my gratefulness for your concern and that of all members of your delegation with regard to the migratory crisis that Colombia is experiencing as a result of the brutal dictatorship of Nicolás Maduro. The way in which all our region and hemisphere must counter this dictatorship is clear. This dictatorship must end. This dictatorship must reach its end. And we need sanctions and diplomatic efforts to be reinforced, and all humanitarian efforts so that this dictatorship reaches its end. It's also very important for this migratory crisis to be assessed with the fraternal welcoming that Colombia has given its brethren of Venezuela. Colombia is a country that has guaranteed healthcare support and safety, and this has brought with it important fiscal burden, but we do so because our brothers in Venezuela are escaping a crisis that has impoverished the entire society of Venezuela. We will continue courageously and supporting our brothers of Venezuela until they can find freedom. I would also like to thank you, dear Representative, for the effort made by you and the entire delegation to highlight the importance of the bilateral relationship between the United States and Colombia to strengthen trade and open up new opportunities for exports of Colombia to participate in value chains. This is of great importance, as is the importance of foreign investment coming from the United States to Colombia and Colombia's investment in the United States, and how these bilateral commercial ties are strengthened to express the fact that here we are thinking on the long term and the benefit for both countries. So I would like to thank you for your visit. I would like to thank each of the members of the delegation, congressmen and senators from various states of the United States. These are states that wish to work with Colombia. This has been the home for many countries that invest in our country. I'd like to express my gratitude and take advantage of this opportunity to highlight the intention of my country to continue with these ties with all states of the United States and the members of Congress. And I would like to thank the Congress of the United States for appreciating the role of Colombia as a partner and ally of the United States to work on joint causes, as well as a country in this hemisphere that we share these precepts of the democratic letter. Thank you very much, Representative McCarthy, for being here.
We just had one of the most productive meetings with President Duque, and it's not our first one. In February, the president came to my office, and we met about a number of different issues. And this was one of the first congressional delegation trips we could take this year. And the number one place we wanted to go was Colombia. Why? Because for the last 20 years, we have a bond with America and Colombia like almost no other country. Plan Colombia was one of the most successful programs any two countries have almost ever had. We saw the successes, getting narcos and the traffickers out. But we have new challenges. We've talked with the president about eradication. We support his efforts. We do not want to go backwards. We want to make sure all of the Colombians go forward and America goes with you. With me is not only a bipartisan delegation, but it's bicameral. Senator, congressional members from all different committees. And they're the ranker members. With us today, we have Congressman Mike Rogers that has a company in his district has one of the largest investments in Colombia from America. We love that relationship. I happen to have been the majority whip when we passed our free trade agreement. And we know the strength and the bond that even made our country stronger. But I want to thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. Your leadership on eradication, but most importantly, your leadership when it comes to Venezuela. The crisis that is happening there is Maduro's regime, and Maduro's regime created it all themselves. This is a dictatorship that is a criminal, that is holding back the number of people that crave freedom and liberty. And it is your country that has shown the generosity, that accepted more than almost any other country in a shorter period of time to do. America wants to make sure we do our part. Now, I know we've provided more than $200 million, and that's why we wanted to come here. Tomorrow, we will go to that border because this dictatorship has to end. And our message wants to be very clear, like you, Mr. President, to all the people in Venezuela that love liberty and love freedom. We support you. You do not have to live this way. This regime has got to end. They have created this crisis. More people have left Venezuela than left Afghanistan. That's why the Americas are united together in this effort for freedom and liberty. It's just for the last 20 years what we've been able to create of the bond cannot be broken. But we want to make sure the next century is ours together. That's why we will continue to work with you, just as we have for the last 2 decades. And we know the future will only be brighter. I no longer want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your friendship.
Thank you so much.
And we will solve this together.